Hey, Hunters, HaloZoo here for another Prehistoric Kingdom video. Since the last one did very well, actually. So this is just going to be between doing one D&D stuff and before a very special series that I've been wanting to do for a while now. But you'll have to wait and see what that is. Just know it's not going to be anything as casual as this. But anyway, today I've got a very massive park where I'm going to try and get every species in the game. Now, unlike Jurassic World Evolution 1, this is not going to be as big of a challenge, because if you haven't seen, I've actually previously done a park where I took every dinosaur in the game and put them into one park in Jurassic World Evolution, which was a fun challenge, actually. Because I had to think of where I was going to put what species and stuff. But here, it's just each has its own exhibit. Also, you'll notice, I am not skimping out. This has more enclosures than the game has actual, like, genera. Because I'm getting every species in the park. And I mean every species in the park. So this does mean that it's going to get tight in some spaces, but we're going to make this work. So I'm going to have it set up to where I can have literally every dino in the park. And I might actually, well, no, I'm not going to really. Audio. Well, yeah, I think it's, no, not load. Settings. I might lower this down. We'll turn voice to like 50 and then sound to 80. There we go. Okay. Anyway. So right here we've got 6 different sections that are divided by these little pathways. So I decided to categorize the dinos into sauropods, theropods, hadrosaurs, ceratopsids, little dinos, and over here we've got a mammals section for the various mammals we currently have, though this might get expanded upon in the near future, because I know we've got at least Elasmotherium, which I might save this for last and then go to, like, little dinos and ceratopsids and do a lot of the other stuff first. Also, yes, we've already got 2 aviaries with Microraptors and then Archaeopteryx already set up. I just design them as, like, little areas you walk through, and, like, you can go in to see the Archaeopteryx. There we go. Make sure those are right. These are just modular structures I grabbed, so they work, you know. There's a little Microraptors. Our little favorite little Suedo birds. But today we're going to start off with the sauropod section, so I'm going to do this section by section. Some of these are going to be longer than others, like theropods. It's going to be fun. And because I'm going crazy with this project, I am also adding every biome to the game, or like this species likes, into its enclosure. So there will be stuff from all, like, 3 biomes these guys like. And then there's frickin' Tarbosaurus right here, who likes 5 different biomes. Yeah. Fun. Especially because it's a smaller exhibit. Because I decided T-Rex needed a big exhibit, and Spino needed a big exhibit. So, yeah. I might actually... Actually, real quick, I'm going to do something for y'all. I am going to save this as... all-in-one template. So I can actually upload this to the workshop so you all can build your own version of this. And I will link this in the description as well once I'm done with the park. So you all could make your own if you wanted to using this template. Of course, you might change up where certain species are, like the Camarosauruses. They are all over here. I'm going to do it with the Caribbean skin in the middle, and then... so Supremus was in the middle, Grandis is on the right, and then Lentis is on the left. But, yeah. Speaking of which... it's time to begin. And also, I put the fences up already because I knew that was going to be a time-consuming process. As well as building the layout. It's a bloody mess because, real quickly as I get started, I gotta say, I really, really hope they fix the fence setup. Because while it is a million times better than Planet Zoo, because Planet Zoo frickin' sucks in that regard, I hate it. This fence setup, my main problem is I can't line these up perfectly with the pathway. So, like, these are actually set up to where... it's never quite on the mark. Like, I think over here. Which fence is it? It's this fence. This bloody fence. This one's a nightmare to deal with, because I think regularly it ended up getting on the path because of the way it was working. Yeah, like, here you can see it gets on the path. Because it's just not consistent in where you can snap it. Because there's no grid setup. And the thing I wish they did was, I wish they had a setting where you could have it go right against the path and align itself to the path. So it would follow the path's contour exactly. And you could even, like, set up a distance between the path and fence. Like, you could have a, like, half a meter or a full meter distance, and it would still snap in place along the path. That would make life so much easier. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to start setting this up. So, as I recall, Camarasaurus doesn't really care about water too much. And I kind of want to keep the water count, or amount. Oh. I'm going to have to reopen this. That's 3 times now I've experienced this bug. Oh. Oh, this game is... we are bugging out now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to reload the game real quick. Alright, I will pause and restart now. See you in a bit. And I will probably turn my graphics setting down because I realized I didn't do that. Okay, we're back. Turns out I was already on high settings, and we're just gonna open this up, and here we go. There is Camarasaurus lentis. So this is the first species we're gonna do. They only like 30% water and 30% crowding. I think that's the same for all of them. Because while they're different species, they don't have different preferences. But to change things up, I think I'm going to have the different species have different biome like setups. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have Lentis be more of a scrubland. Supremus is gonna be more of a coastal, and then Grandis is gonna be more of a desert. Because my thinking is that like the Cinnabar skin is a lot brighter overall, so it would reflect the sun better in the desert, and its reddish color also kind of looks a bit more sunburnt and stuff. Limestone, it has a very dark neck, which would absorb a lot more light, but it has a bright back and stuff, so I think it would make a fine like scrubland animal. And then Supremus, it's by far my favorite, and thus is going to be my favorite biome because I am a biased human being. It will have all the ferns. Don't you worry. Anyway, so we're gonna go remove these trees because we're gonna start with this one. We are going to go to water, so they don't really want a lot of water, so I'm thinking a very small pool, like we're gonna set it like here. And we're also gonna change the terrain to be a scrubland grass and stuff. So I should probably be using a different technique, but make sure that that's all scrubland grass, because I probably shouldn't have used grass to paint over the grass. And the reason I'm kind of like, I shouldn't have done it that way, well, it absolutely works. It's easier to know when you've, because the grass colors are still very similar. It's like surprisingly close to each other. Which, I mean, kind of fair, but like most of the grass colors, it's like good luck identifying it, you know? I'm actually going to start making our Camarasaurs. Oh, I forgot these had a very, like, bland females. Thinking 4, or maybe 6 with 2 males, 4 females. Yeah, I think that's good. That's... So they're just barely peeking over the fence. Okay. So we need a... Oh! I forgot, yeah, this worked for sauropods. So this is, like, the perfect one for them. I think I'm gonna have it, like... here, because I usually put these opposite to the water. So we're gonna put that there. And I'm actually gonna make this very dense forest area. But I actually want to make sure this is... there's a decent enough distance. Yeah, let's advanced edit this. There we go. Okay. Now, well, screw it. There we go. Okay. Now then. Gonna go to grid mode. Make sure to remove bendy palms, because screw bendy palms. Bendy palms are the worst. Just make a very dense scrub forest. Or do I want... I don't want this to be scrub, actually. I want this to be coastal, I think. Well, I don't... Well, or rather, I don't think I want it to be coastal. I know I want this to be coastal. No bendy palms to worry about, so we can just, you know... Go all out. Heck yeah. I think 10 meters is the best. Make sure we get as many trees as we can in here. Especially here, because this is the thin area, so... Let's see, are they very private? Yeah, yes! Oh, look at this. It's glorious. So glorious. And that is how you make sure you're... As expected. There we go. There we go. Okay. Anyway, just gonna exit the group. Select all. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. There we go. All right. There we are. There is a beautiful little coastal forest that conceals our shelter quite a bit. And then, of course, we're going to go to ground cover mode. And then plant a bunch of ferns right here. Yes! Plant all the ferns. All the ferns. Oh, look at how beautiful that is. Just, yes. This is perfection. That is just... Mwah! Perfect. Okay, and then we're going to add a little desert section. So I'm thinking... Can we use, like... I'm going to use some substrate here. From the coastal palette. As, like, a... something to denote their bedding area. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so then we just need the tall feeders. So we're going to have a tall feeder here and here. And these are exclusively herbivore stuff, so we don't have to worry about that. And we just put some ice blocks, like... Boop. 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 There we go. Okay, so now we can start working on interspersing stuff with a scrubland theme. I think I want like a clay section. Like over here it turns into more like deserty. So it's a much drier, like deserty region or segment. Kind of nestled against this coastal forest. Which I'll actually extend. It's a bit more of an open forest like here, I'm thinking. Or actually, I'm going to... like this section of the forest, but... real quickly, I'm going to delete this segment of forest. But what we're going to do instead is we're going to have like a more open forest here. As it merges into the scrubland. It's a desert. So then we have the desert, which is even sparser, but There we go. I think this looks great. This is looking good, except for one thing. And it's called not enough ferns. Never enough ferns. Yes. 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 Ha ha ha. I will have my ferns. Okay, anyway, fern planting over. Let's actually extend the desert foliage out over here a bit more. Okay, anyway, so then we go over to the scrubland, and this is going to be where we open up into our open scrubland. I think, like, over here we have more like a denser scrub forest. And have, like, a much denser woodland area right over here. And then we hit the more open area here, where we're gonna actually deselect all. Get all the small foliage. And then we're gonna use it to populate over here a lot more. Make sure we get a lot of scrubland ground cover. And then we're going to make sure we remove everything in the sand here. There we go. Okay. So that is our Camarasaurus lentis exhibit. Which I think is, it's looking nice, actually. I'm kind of happy with how I improvised this. It's certainly gone better than I actually expected. Okay. Release 6 animals. Voila! Oh, they're actually a bit more crowded than I expected, but oh well, it's fine. Let's not worry about it. But I guess the here we'll I guess whoop. There we go. But I got a melanistic one, I think. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to turn autosaves down. I believe it's in this autosave. Every hour, please. Thank you very much, because 30 minutes is kind of bit much. So we're going to go over to Grandis now. So these guys, they only want to be in groups of 4, which is fine, actually. I actually like how they've differentiated, like, the necks and heads on a lot of these. It's actually a problem I'll probably mention later, but I think some of the designs could use some new work, some more work. And I think probably my big one is going to be hadrosaurs. Anyway, we're going to go to the desert. So, fortunately, this one I can actually paint with grass because I can tell what's desert grass and what's not. Which actually reminds me, I kind of want to make this sand instead of clay. Use the desert palette here instead. Didn't actually reset terrain, but oh well. So here is our desert grassland. So we're gonna have a small pool like here, maybe. There we go. Okay. Anyway, so this is gonna be by an area of rock around it. There we go. Okay. So we're going to change. So I'm actually going to keep the theme of having a coastal forest hide the housing, just because coastal kind of gives me the best like visibility blockage. Like per tree, so because it also like fully blocks the height, so because it goes much taller, I think it's better for the purposes I need it to do. Go to fern mode. And just plant all the ferns right here. In our little gateway segment. Watch as the ferns drop our frame rate and murder it because they're absolutely beautiful. I'm getting like 17 FPS. I'm sorry. My PC, I mean, it's a bit, I mean, it works, but, you know, it's not designed to handle the ferns, even though they're absolutely amazing here. Anyway, now I'm thinking we have like a open scrubland, like here. Well, nah, maybe like here. Good. Or maybe we go like, or actually, I'm gonna have it around here. This is like a little oasis. Yeah. Between all the like dry areas. And maybe even we have the like the scrubland grass here. Quickly gonna make sure that's all grassland grass. So it kind of gives us a like clear oasis vibe. And then we're gonna make this like a clay pond. So there we go. I'm so glad this game doesn't care about what terrain you use for animals. So awesome. That's another thing I never liked about Planet Zoo is that stupid system of, oh, you gotta use like this exact type of terrain for your animal. Because reasons, you know? We gotta restrict your creativity somehow, you know? Like, we can't have you doing whatever you want and just, you know, kind of making an exhibit for the biome and calling it a day, right? But, yeah. I mean, Planet Zoo, it's great as, like, a return to the zoo builders of old, but my gosh, can that game be really kind of, clunky. Like this. Oh my gosh, it's so smooth. Like, just the vegetation, like, brush alone. Oh my gosh, it just... it genuinely makes everything better. I forgot I didn't want tall cacti. It's 20-meter brush. Make sure we get these edge areas. A little more in the center, a little more here. A little more over here, I think. Okay, there we go. I think this actually looks very good as it is, so I think all we need now is the tall feeders and the fruit blocks. So right here, 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 and here. I think this, yeah, this also turned out pretty good. Are you kidding me? What are the odds? I got an albino. I got a melanistic here and an albino here. I thought they turned those down, but dang. What are the odds of that? Seriously. That is hilarious that I managed to get that to happen. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna make sure they have, well, actually, we're gonna go to terrain mode. I'm gonna start by painting substrate, actually. So we're gonna start with substrate because substrate, it's a lot more noticeable, so I know where I've been with the brush. Because, once again, like, the grass colors are very, they're very samey, with a few exceptions, so being able to just do this, like, with substrate is going to be a lot better, because it lets me paint it over so I know I get coastal grass everywhere I want it. Because, like, you can hardly tell the difference here. Like, grassland, I think it's a bit lighter, while coastal's a bit deeper. I mean, desert you can obviously tell, and wetland tends to be the same. But I think looking at these, it's very hard to tell the difference, but I want to say this is lighter. This is the deeper. I don't know. It all blurs together is the point, but I think I want the pool right here, so we're gonna think that's a good distance. I hope it is, at least. And then we're going to make this... We're going to make this a scrubland itself, so I'm going to just... paint the clay all around and then go from there. And then over here we have a little desert. There we go. Okay, I think that's good. There we are. There we go. There we go. And then open woods. And these open woods gonna be filled with ferns. Yes. Ah, it's beautiful. And voila. There's our ferns. As we hit... I'll make this a bit denser, I think. There we go. Okay. Now then, let's go to Scrubland and hit our grass button. Okay, it's going to casually expand this out. Make sure it's nice and pretty. There we go. Okay, so then we're going to deselect all. Go into my little plants mode. I also still wish this had like a separate like ground cover plants and like trees modes. Just because I think that'd help a lot in designing like beautiful areas. And it would also mean that you could like split the needs for like ground cover and trees. So some animals might like heavily forested areas with limited ground cover. Others might like having a lot of ground cover but not a lot of trees. And then some might even like say lots of ground cover and trees. Or not many trees, not much ground cover. I think that would all be very interesting to have. And then also have different like subsets of terrain that they might like. But I don't know. And that's just in general for these kinds of games. Like, not necessarily this one alone, just, you know, in general, these kinds of games. Get more precise with it. There we go. I think this looks good now. So this will be the Camarasaurus done. And then we'll just need the oh, I didn't make them yet. Anyway. I wonder what we're going to get this time. I suspect we're not going to get anything special, but... Yeah. That's what I expected. Nothing special, but this is the best skin anyway, so... It doesn't matter if there's an albino one. What are you doing here? How? How did you do that? What? My enclosure is perfect. This is the best fence in the game, Camarasaurus. Is this guy? It's the best fence in the game, Mono. It's the only fence that works for you, yet you somehow got out of it. And heck, it's actually even better than it should be for you. I'm not even trying to understand what was going on there. Actually, we're not going to have that. So we're going to do one last Morrison exhibit before we move on to Argentinosaurus, which is going to be interesting. I think I'm going to have the water be over here. So we're actually going to check Brachiosaurus. Yeah, I don't need lots of forest, but... I know I want to prioritize coastal for them. I don't really like any of these too much. I feel like they're all just so plain. Except Alpine. I think Alpine's a good, like, generic skin. Oh, these guys like a bit more crowding. So we're going to get 6 of them. Have, like, a much bigger herd of them. But we're actually going to put a... Oh. I realize now I have not had angle snap on the entire time. What? Why? What? That doesn't... That wouldn't need a path connection. What? I don't get what the game was even doing there. Okay, so anyway, I should do something real quick, if you don't mind. Just looking at it. Actually, extend the coastal grass a bit more. Just outside of it. There we go, that looks better. Okay, anyway, there we are. Okay, anyway. So we're going to put substrate. And we're also going to go heavy coastal in this one, just because, of course I am. But I'm thinking this house can be... To change things up, I'm going to have the house not be in a coastal bit. I'm going to have it be... Because these, I want it to be coastal just to increase privacy by a degree. But I think here, I'm going to have it be more of a... Which reminds me, I need to make sure I have the substrate down in these clearings. There we go. Okay. Oh, that's sand, not substrate, but oh well, it works. You know? It works. But here, we're going to put, like, a scrubland area. Like, over here. That'll actually connect to our desert segment. There we go. Okay, anyway. Just make sure this is good. Bam. Okay. So then we're going to have coastal. You know, back to sand. We're going to go... We're also going to put... scrubland grass over here. There we go. Okay. There is our deal. No bendy palms. I also wish they removed bendy palms. Bendy palms are the worst. I'll be honest. That's looking pretty good, I think. Because the problem I have with bendy palms is they just look hideous. I'm actually going to go down to 10% on this brush. So it's actually like a sparse desert. Or, well, not like a really sparse desert, but a lush desert, I think. But it should be the sparsest area in terms of foliage, I think. There we go. Okay, I think that's pretty good for that stuff. And then the important part. The coastal forest. Which, yeah, it's actually surprising for what should, in theory, be the worst biome to actually be my favorite. Because it's just so good, you know? Because the problem that coastal has is it has, like, the worst plant variety, I think. Well, except maybe grassland. Well, grassland has a lot of, like, ground cover. Coastal doesn't, but still manages to be a very compelling biome just because of its sheer, like, what it has is really good, you know? And you know it's good when you've got, like, a biome that, despite its, like, supposed lack of diversity, it still manages to be so compelling to just plant a million ferns and stuff with. Which is just why coastal is so magical to me, you know? I mean, that and, like, I love ferns. Like, just look at this. Like, I am compelled to do this. And just make a genuinely great and lush fern forest, you know? And I'll be honest, like, it's a shame that Planet Zoo doesn't let you just go crazy with plants like this. It's really a big problem that game has, where, you know, it's like, as good as the game otherwise could have been, can I have it, like, here instead? There we go. There we go. Okay. So here's the Brachiosaurus forestlands. There we go. Ended up being less of an organic deal, but well. It's fine. I think this one's probably the one I think looks best. Maybe. I'm also tempted to say this one's good. That one, meh. This, it's not bad. But now we've got Argentinosaurus, which is scrubland and tropical. So we're going to be going with a very big forest. So I'm thinking, so it doesn't really matter which model we go with, but I think water here would be for the best. But Argentinosaurus is going to have a bigger pond than a lot of the others, since they're kind of big, but this is the 5th Sauropod species, so which one do I want, actually? I think algae is actually the coolest. I also like how, apparently, the bigger 2 sauropods actually want to be in a bigger group than the smaller ones. It kind of seems opposite of what you'd expect. But, I mean, if it works, it works, you know? And then this one, I think I can use grass, because... yeah, you can actually see that against the grassland. So we're going to make a tropical forest. And I think this time I'm going to stick to mostly a tropical palette, though I'm thinking that I'll just make sure this is very tropical. There we go. Okay. Anyway. So what I'm thinking... let's actually set this up now. Just delete that, because... there we go. Since it doesn't actually need path connection. It's just a straw bed, apparently. So, yeah, what we're going to do... we're going to go to... coastal, no. Or the... not coastal, scrubland. And actually use clay for this, because I think it looks better than the sand or rock of the jungle. There we go. Okay. And then for the tropical stuff, I'm going to actually use substrate for under their shelter. There we go. Okay. There we go. So we're gonna have, I believe, more of a scrubland here. So let's actually get that down first, because if I don't define my scrubland now, it's going to be much harder later. And I'm thinking, like, how it kind of naturally glide around here, like this. Okay. None. Deselect all. Delete. Actually, let's not delete yet. Deselect all. Select small stuff again. Boom. And then populate our scrubland with ground cover. There we go, there we go, there we go. And now we go delete mode. Clear the pond, because it's not a swamp. Define our kind of like gradual curve. Bit better by cutting back. There we go. Okay. Anyway, next up, let's make sure we got our tall feeders. And our ice blocks. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now we go over to the jungle palette. You get to work on a jungle. Which I forgot to remove the bendy palms on. Let's go. I probably could have gone with the trees mode. Yeah, you know, I'm actually going to undo all this. I want to go in a trees mode. Now, what this will allow me to do is basically kind of set up a lot more of the K-pokes and stuff that I want. Now we are going to turn the density down. That didn't turn out well. Maybe 30%? Maybe 20% 30 meter. Yeah, that's... Okay, I think this has been more like it. Yes! Okay, now we're ready to deselect everything. And pretty much select the stuff that I didn't grab before. Oh, actually... And then we're actually going to select all except Bendy Palm. And just turn the density way up here. And give us a good, like, lush area here along the wall. That's good, I think. And actually, I'm going to go back to ground cover mode. As with this, I should be able to really get a dense undergrowth going. There we go. Okay, anyway. Make sure the plants over here are gone, because they're not supposed to be over here. Yeah, that's a good jungle. Okay. That's good. We got our big Argentinasauruses. And that's our sauropods for today. I think this has turned out pretty good. Where it's like you got the jungle and then open scrubland. Or what feels more open by comparison. But yeah, that has been some Prehistoric Kingdom. There is our sauropods, which I'm pretty happy with so far. This project is going to be really crazy. As for which one I'm going to do next, I might do the small dinos, of all things, next. Because I don't want to do mammals yet, because I already did them, like, last time I did Prehistoric Kingdom. But I hope you all have enjoyed this video as I just mess around and let's build. Didn't have much else to talk about, but anyway, without further ado, like and subscribe to catch the rest of this series as I do the hadrosaurs, small dinos, theropods, mammals, and ceratopsids. But anyway, see y'all next time! HaloZoo, out!